You ever get through your day and you realize you spent no time with God? And so you swear that tomorrow will be different. And maybe for a few days it is. You spend this rich time with God, but then quickly life gets so busy, you set it off to the side. And this overwhelming guilt just cycles around again. Hello, my friend. If you're new here, my name's Zach. And on this channel, we help Christian husbands live uncommon lives. And to have an uncommon life, you need an uncommon relationship with God. Common is forgetting Him, putting it on the back burner. See, with kids, marriage, work, house, and everything that needs to get done, we easily put God from primary to forgetting about Him. And in this video, we are going to multiply the time you have with God. And you may hear that statement and go, I don't have the time to do that. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will have some tips, tricks to see Him in your present moment and to spend more time with Him. So let's dive in. Number one, practice mindfulness. Here's what I mean by this. God is always present, but we often don't see Him. See, we get so focused on what we need to do that we're just doing, instead of being a human being. Here's some practices that I've helped me see God in every moment and really change the relationship I have with Him. When I'm eating food that I enjoy, not food I don't enjoy, but food I enjoy, and I'm tasting that food, just stopping and really taste it. And thank God He gave you the taste buds to taste that food. And if you're like me, you like salty food. And it's even better with some more salt on it. But just see Him when you're eating. See Him in the places you go. You know, I am a wilderness junkie. I love the forest. I love sitting by a stream. And when I'm in those moments and I see the beauty of the work of His hands, it reminds me of Him. When I'm with people I love and cherish. When I'm going for a walk with my wife, you know what I think about? I think about how much I love her, and then it makes me think about how much I love God because He's a good God and He gave her as a gift to me. See, in your life, how could you see God being present with you? It's one of the main things we can do that can have this quick return of relationship with Him is just being mindful that He's with you and He's given you gifts to enjoy. But are we acknowledging Him? The second thing is to have a constant routine. See, oftentimes what we do is we're going to spend time with God. And we have this as we're going to read our Bible and we're going to pray to Him. But when we're going to do that, we don't know. We'll do it sometime. And so when we live in that mode, that's why we push it off to the side. Because you don't have to try to be busy. Busyness is a part of our culture. And busyness can overwhelm, and if you do not have something set as constant, that's why it pushes to the side. Here's what I've done that's helped me have a constant routine with God, is I am a caffeine addict. I love coffee. And so it's something I'm going to have every day. So I have linked up the time that I have with God through reading the Bible and journaling and praying to starting the coffee. And so every morning when I start the coffee, that starts my morning routine. And I'll get into my morning routine in another video, but it's important that it's a routine, not the length of the time. Oftentimes what we want to do when we want to spend more time with God, and especially if we're feeling this guilt feeling that we have to be more intimately knowing Him, and so we want to take all day to spend time with Him. And then we're surprised that we don't make it a constant routine because we're trying this 7-hour routine to spend time with God. No, start small. If it's a couple minutes, great. If it's 10 minutes, fantastic. The length of time doesn't matter. What matters is that you're forming this routine of hearing what God has to say through His Word and in prayer. The next thing we can do is we can engage with Scripture. Here's what I mean by that. It's really easy to just read the text, read the Bible, and check it off our list so we don't feel guilt. But that's not growing in our relationship with God. That's not growing and spending time with Him. When we engage with Scripture, We take it from reading, and it starts to transform our mind and our heart. We can do this in a few different ways. When you read the Bible, are you asking, what does this mean, and how does it apply for me? That's one of the ways in which we can engage it. In fact, there's a practice called SOAP, and it's scripture, observation, what do you observe in the text, application, how can you apply it to your life, and prayer. And that's a simple way that we can engage with Scripture that can kind of transform our life and change it. There's some other things we can do engaging in Scripture. We can memorize Scripture that we need to hear. See, I need to hear that I'm righteous and holy and that He loves me and He has a plan for my life. Like, these are things I need to know. And so I've memorized Scripture around those things. What is it that you need to know? If you don't know, maybe just start when you read, point out one verse that just jumped out to you a little bit and ask God about it. He can do some profound things in us and through us when we engage with Scripture. But don't just check Him off the list. Listen to what He's really saying. Right, the fifth thing we can do, that we can spend more time with God, is we can serve others. I think we forget often that when we're serving, we're living out a commandment of God and we're spending time with Him if we can really sit back and observe. As I was thinking about this point, I was thinking about one time when I got to go to India and I got to preach in India over that time, and I got to serve Him there and serve the people there. And if you're from India, I just want to say, I love your country and the food. I could come back for the food a lot, but more than anything, I love the people. And God spoke to me in profound ways that I was there as a Westerner, and how we operate in America is very different from India, and God challenged me there. It was a great time of refilling with God and pouring out. And we can spend time with serving. It's like, it doesn't need to be traveling around the world to serve God. It can be serving your family. It can be serving your neighbor. But it comes back to that mindfulness piece. Are you thinking about God when you're serving? Are you seeing Him in the people you serve? You know, one thing that was really neat when I was in India is I didn't speak the language. And there was times where I had a translator there, but there was often times where there was no translator. And it was me and another person, and I could not speak their language, and they couldn't speak mine. I have a choice in that moment. You can ignore the person standing in front of you, or you can ask God to reveal what they might be asking for, or what they're wanting you to pray for. And see, when we get in these uncomfortable situations, when we serve others and we're communing with our Father who loves us, it can be a rich time of spending time with Him. So I hope these 5 different things help you to actually spend more time with God. And if you're feeling guilt about the time that you're not spending with Him, I just wanted to say, convictions of God, shame, condemnation, those aren't from Him. That's not His voice, my friend. But He does desire to spend time with you. Have a great day, and God bless you as you spend time with your Father who loves you.